Hi, I'm Jerry Karata. I was recently lucky enough to speak with Gant Laborde. Gant is the founder of Infinite Red, a consulting firm that works with clients to create and deploy applications that run on the web, phones, and other platforms. He's also an assistant professor with a fun and interesting teaching style, and he speaks frequently at leading tech conferences. One of his recent projects has been the book, Learning TensorFlow.js. In this book, he takes developers through the process of creating AI-powered applications using TensorFlow.js. He uses an end-to-end approach in a series of interesting and fun hands-on examples. And by the end of the book, developers are able to use TensorFlow.js to build and deploy production-ready systems. Now join me as I discuss this and more with Gant, and we get to the eternal question every developer has. How did they decide which animal to put on the cover of an O'Reilly book? So, welcome, Gant. Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic. Glad to be here.
Yeah, everything going well in New Orleans?
Yeah, we had a storm recently,
Uh-huh.
and it didn't knock out our power.
Uh-huh.
It's like, in Star Trek when they have a weapon that drains the shields.
Oh,
So like if I run the microwave right now, like all of a
Uh-huh.
sudden all the lights turn like half capacity and stuff.
Oh, your power sounds as good as Texas or here in California
Yeah,
when we get one
pretty
of our,
much.
yeah,
I have no
yeah.
idea what's going on. There's something out there feeding on it or whatever. But so
Uh,
if at any moment just the lights behind me or my microphone starts to go quiet, it's not me. It's the strange
okay.
storm energy monster.
Yeah, I won't take offense if that happens then.
Perfect.
Great. Hey, maybe you could kind of start, let's
Mhm.
get kicked off here by just tell, you have kind of a unique blend of skills here. Could you tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about kind of your developer history and things like that?
Quick tidbit on all that. Got my dad's work computer, made it say hello world. Never looked back. Went to college for computer science. Graduated computer science. I've used that I think twice now. Like one time in working on a linked list. I don't know. And one time I had to write, shell sort. I think that's the two times.
So how did you get started in the kind of like the JavaScript and web sort of
Yeah.
realm then?
Well, I'll tell you, when I was in high school, I was writing programs. We got a couple of books, and then as just around early 2000s,
Hmm.
I was still in college, but I was like, you know what? The web pages just became a thing. So I bought all the books I could. I was doing ASP Classic, PHP.net, and then of course, once JavaScript started to become important, for client side activity,
Hmm.
bought a book on JavaScript. And I dare say that I've been doing JavaScript for at least, maybe 15 years. But I think that is a lie because JavaScript's nothing like it was 15 years ago. That JavaScript I wrote then was something. What I write, now is very, very, very different. But I guess I
Hmm.
can still wear the badge.
Well, thanks to ECMAScript and things like that, right?
Yes, exactly.
So
It's finally evolving.
yes, yes. So how about the machine learning part? Those are kind of
Yeah.
unique pairing of skills, shall we say?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was very afraid of AI because, when I was
Mhm.
learning AI, it wasn't anything to do with machine learning. And then the world started to just put AI all around me. Next thing I
Yeah.
know, emails are finishing sentences. You're able to like take a picture of something and identify what it is.
Right.
I take a photo. In the background of that photo, there's a photo, and it tags that person a photo of a photo, and I'm like,
Right.
what is happening? So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, it's coming. I
Yeah.
need to see what's going on. And to be honest, there was um there was a machine learning app written in JavaScript for the movie Silicon Valley,
Hmm.
and it was open sourced. And I said, "What? That's a real app. They didn't just do it for the show. They did a real app." Downloaded it, opened it up, and was like, "I don't understand any of this." And that was the day I went and signed up for Andrew Ng's Stanford
Right.
course pushing myself through all the math and all the linear algebra, which actually, I guess that's what I used from college.
So say
And
college
then
wasn't
going
a
back through
waste
it.
then, right?
Yeah, I did take a lot of linear algebra that I didn't
Yeah.
think I would ever want. But yeah,
Yeah. Now, I have some experience at JavaScript. I actually got
yes.
paid, at one time back in history to do it. When I first started looking at machine learning and things like that and thinking, oh, I'll put this in a JavaScript program, I would think, the first thing I would do is, oh, I'll just hop into Python here
Yeah.
or C++, put a service up on some server, and I'll just do an
Yep.
HTTP request, and I get that. That's not how you're doing
No.
it, and
No.
and you're doing so much more with it. What sort of applications can
Hmm.
somebody who maybe is a JavaScript developer
Yeah.
and works in the kind of what I'll call the traditional style, with servers
Yeah.
and things like, what can they look forward to or doing once they kind of embrace what you did, which was
Yeah.
to put JavaScript or machine learning inside JavaScript or from JavaScript?
Well, I could tell you, it's such an amazing. It's not just because this is the programming language I know or something like that. And that's always a fantastic start. It's not a great reason to stay somewhere. There has to be some kind of tangible reason, and that's that we're going back to that n+1 sort of thing. And for JavaScript, there was this that sort of that scare, that aging app that people had, and people would like take a photo and they'd be like, oh, look, this is how you look when you're older. And then everybody found out it was just sending your face to some server, across the world. And then that's it. Like, you'd signed away the fact that all your photos you'd been taken are now like belonging to someone else and all that stuff. And that's sort of like there's this privacy concern. And I think as we start to see AI more and more and more, we're going to be more concerned about how it's being done. You're able to do it. But, one of the things that happens here is it's very important that you kind of understand the process. And so I'll tell you, a client came to us as a company and said, hey, we want to do makeup try on, right? Inside your webcam, instant makeup try on with WebAssembly, and we want our model to tie in with that. And this is before TensorFlow.js supported WebAssembly, and this is before quite a few things with TensorFlow.js. So we've got it set up there, and it was a lot of work. But what's great is it never left their machine. It sat there. They opened up the browser, and they were able to click on different types of makeup and try on all kinds of different stuff. And then they could add that to their cart without it ever violating their privacy, without it ever. And there's no way we could have done that with a round trip, right? Like, that couldn't have gone off somewhere. And so, and then it's instantly like doing this sale. Now, yes, I'm sure like the model that they use, they're very protective of that, but that's not their financial system,
Right.
It's not the magic trick anymore that where's like, aha, we've done the magic trick. That's the product. It is the magic trick to help sell the product. And I think that's where everything always ends up, because we have like, oh, aha, I made a website. But what does your website do is our question today. So, aha, I have AI. What does your AI do? And I think that's going to demand that AI go all over the place, pay attention to privacy, pay attention to security, pay attention to accessibility, and all these other kinds of concerns that we hold all these other different technologies to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because JavaScript is so ubiquitous. I know you guys at Infinite Red are, even using it to build mobile apps now, right?
Yeah.
The same. I assume you guys are doing the same thing with mobile apps. Not letting things, be shifted from your mobile device, because there is this concern, especially as we become more connected, that excuse me, anything we do can end up someplace else. And as people are finding out, it can come back to kind of bite you in the rear.
Oh, yeah.
In a big.
Exactly. One of the things we're doing with, since we can use JavaScript, which is, it is by far the most popular language for the past 7 years plus. Is that it's
Mhm.
great that Apple goes and makes some huge announcement, and it's like, all right, here's what all our phones can do. And then Android goes and makes a huge announcement. Okay, here's the new way. Here's how we're going to work all this stuff, and here's how it's all going to tie together. And then I think we need this level of abstraction between the two. And then that works out with things like Flutter and React Native,
Mhm.
which give you a level of abstraction. So I don't have to go to 2 conferences and learn all the new things.
Right.
This is nothing new. Like when people had to do assembly, they were like, okay, well, this machine does this and these have these registers.
Right.
Oh, you know what I'll do? I'm just going to write it in C and compile it on each machine.
Yeah,
Like
that's
we're just seeing the same concept come back, and people
uh
are going to fight it and say assembly is better than C, all the way up until you can get better optimization there. Same thing is going to happen with JavaScript on top of these platforms. So we're just early adopters on this, and we're happy to go ahead and take the new problems rather than go to 5 conferences. Like, all right, now we have to do a Windows app, a Mac app, a watch app, an Android, because we're in a world now where company shows up wants all of those at the same time.
Let's get to your book.
Yes.
Learning TensorFlow.js. Kind of in the title there, what the book's about. Very good pick on your part in terms of the title and things like that. And we've talked a little bit about TensorFlow.js and things like that. But there are other libraries out there. What makes TensorFlow.js kind of unique in your mind?
TensorFlow.js stands alone by far. If it's accessing a GPU, identifying how a computer can work fast, having a well-tested and balanced protocol to handle something that in some cases is actually faster than Python.
Wow, I did not know that.
Running node processes on the server, so you could do it on the server as well. It doesn't have to just be a client. And outperforming Python.
Wow.
And then there's just so many different things there. So you're kind of like, okay, I might need to keep this one in my front pocket.
Okay, if somebody wants to learn, obviously the best book to go to is your book, but
yes, of course,
massively, of course, right? So what were kind of the goals you had when when you sit down and kind of write a book? You have an end kind of in mind, right?
So I had 2 audiences in mind. What I wanted to do was, if you're coming to this from a machine learning perspective, I wanted you to be entertained enough to sort of like get the feel, the concepts. So we had, I want to say, 3 or 4 expert machine learners as reviewers.
Oh,
and
good.
My goal was to keep them through the book, not have them be bored, not have them like their comments drop off, and have them say like, oh, I'm learning how to take my knowledge and apply it over here. Now, they're my secondary audience, though. I just want to keep them throughout it. I want them to be like, I know so much about machine learning. Now I can come to JavaScript and I can sort of like apply my stuff as well. I'll buy this for my staff or something. So that was my secondary audience. I wanted to keep people who are advanced. My primary audience was people who are in JavaScript, who build websites, your team who's building this and that, and then get them to the point where they're like, I know the terms, I know the terminology, I know how to take these things and wire them in. I can go take the coolest model that someone just made and then start just putting it into a website, and then even start like getting interested in the concepts, because the book caps out around convolutions, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't even like go into any, like, I'm not doing auto encoders. I'm not doing I don't even like get too far beyond that. But I think that that's enough. I think that's enough for someone who's coming from web, that you kind of get in there and the concepts make sense. They click when they land in place. And then each thing creates a website, an example, and a fun thing. So before you even understand some of the concepts, you're wiring in something that solves like tic-tac-toe. So you give it a tic-tac-toe problem and you're like, hey, what's the right answer here? And it gives them a softmax resolution of what's the next best move. And
Right.
they're like, okay, I'm kind of getting this. And then we can kind of go into, next time they see softmax output, they're not like, what's going on? What are all these numbers? So it's kind of friendly in that sense. So they're my primary audience. Anybody who's done web development for any amount of time or any kind of JavaScript development, but when they hear a model, they're like, okay, is it a 3D model? Is it like this? Like, what's going on? I want them, when they leave the book, they're like, I can implement machine learning, inside here. I might not be able to architect the best thing and train the best thing, although I do have them train. I do have them like actually see what that whole process is. But they'll be like, I feel confident working in AI after this. And so that's the primary audience. And I had some reviewers like that, and the reviews for that came back pretty positive. So I'm pretty excited.
Oh, okay, great. So let me ask you a couple of questions I ask most book authors and things like that. What was the most fun thing about putting this book together?
I'll say that. So I took the Google Draw data set and then took a subset of that and married a Harry Potter house organizer. So an AI sorting hat. And so that was a lot of fun. So you draw a picture. I think it's like chapter either 10. Yeah, chapter 10. You draw a picture and it sorts you into your particular Hogwarts house.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful book. I did see it was up, I guess, on pre-order right today.
Yes.
But I'm sure probably by the time I get around to processing it, it'll be,
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to touch it anymore, and so, but O'Reilly's got such a high level of standard. They're going through, they're redoing the art. They have people coming in, making sure I speak English good. They're just fixing all this stuff. So hopefully they don't find too much that they have to work on, and then they can just release it soon.
Great. One final question then, and I'll let you go. On every O'Reilly book, there's an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yours has a turtle, I believe, on it.
Yes.
How do they do that? Do they have like their little like animal sorting thing that they just pull one out?
They feed the code in and an animal comes out. It's a generative network. Yeah.
or did they send you like three? I mean, what's the process like?
They used to have this whole thing. It used to be all these endangered animals, these wood grain graved sort of setup. What they have now is and I love that they protect their illustration team, the illustration team, because let's be honest, if every author could choose their animal, how many puppies and cyborg dragons would be out there? Like I was thinking to myself, I was like, should I get a Kracken on the book or a space cyborg dragon? That's what I want, and it has to breathe electrical fire. And I was just like, there's no way they're letting me talk to anybody. So what happened is, they are a bit pushy with the animal, which is probably best. And they've told lots of people no. For instance, the one of the first amazing O'Reilly books has a lizard on it. And
yes, I think I have that one.
And then Lawrence Moroney was inspired by that book. So, and he picked it up at a place that had bees. And he said, "Hey, can I have bees on my cover?" And they were like, "No."
not even a discussion, just no.
Yeah, apparently you can't have a bug on a program. Well, I mean, I think they have ants, so I don't know. But whatever, they kind of just they told him no, and so he went with also a lizard on his, and then so I was like, okay. So I was thinking, what's the least ego thing I can do here? I was like, the space dragons aside, I was like, I live in New Orleans. How about an alligator? And that way I stay with the reptiles of the books that I really appreciate. I want to be like one of the reptile books. And they said, best we could do is a turtle. It's like, I guess I'm a turtle. That's it. So I had the ability to veto the animal if I really wanted to, but I like I said, I imagine that their illustration team probably gets some insane requests. I got my reptile. I'm part of the reptile exhibit for AI books, which is a theme that seems to be happening now.
Oh.
I'm like, cool. I feel like there's a crowd here, and I've got my part of it. The turtle can be one of the animals. So that is why I got a diamondback terrapin as the cover. I asked for an alligator, got a turtle. I'm okay with it.
Well, I just don't think there's anything more I can ask you about it. That is a heck of a story, and I'm so looking for this book to come out because, as I said, I am I'm your core audience as far as JavaScript goes. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm back there, and I'm I view it as still got to go to the server and thing. So I'd like to really up my game. And
I think you're gonna love the real-time object detection websites. Just sitting there, and it's like you're a person. I'm like, I feel justified, and you move left and right. A box stays around you, still telling you you're a person. And that sort of instantaneous process from a web page that you can then send to a friend. Change the label person to nerd, and you've made a nerd detector website. Instantaneous, tons of hits, and then we'll sell it as art and make tons of money, Jerry. That's our plan.
Sounds like a winner. Anyway, thank you very much for spending this time with me, Gant. I'm wishing you all the success in the book, and everybody go out and buy Gant's book.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.